So I'm going to show you the strategy that made me a full-time trader, made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. It made Stan about 9 grand on Friday a couple days ago. It made Mike a bunch of money. Scott made about 32% on Amazon. Tanner made money on Google. Jacob made some money on SPY. And Chris made money trading small Google TLM. Okay, and TLM stands for triple line method. That is the strategy you see on the screen. That's the strategy. I'm going to run you through a few quick examples of how that works, how these levels work, and how you can trade the strategy in just about 30 minutes a day. Now, if you're new here and you don't know me, I've been trading about 7 years. I've been full-time for the last 3, and I do it using this one simple strategy called a triple line method. And I haven't changed it at all since the past like 2-3 years I've been doing it, simply because it works. And the way it works is really, really simple. Let me actually make my screen a little bit smaller here. But there we go. Every single day is going to auto plot 3 different levels on the chart. Okay. And there's 3 lines. There's 2 black levels. I'll zoom in here. You got 2 black levels and then 1 middle level that's purple. Okay. And all of these lines are plotted every single morning using an indicator called TLM levels. Now I'll show you at the end of the video how to actually get access to this. It's not something you can just go to TradingView and find right now. You can see it works on all different stocks, all futures, all options, whatever you want to trade. And it just auto plots these levels every single day. Now, the way that these levels are plotted are not classic support resistance levels, okay? It's not like, I see this level here, I'm just going to wait for price to come down and then buy off it. No, that's not at all how you want to do it. There's a very specific way to trade this, and that's what I'm going to show you in this video here right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start with MU. This is one of the examples that I have on here. And so what you do when you're trading this is you're actually looking at the previous day's levels, right? Because these levels don't form until the end of the day. So when tomorrow comes or when the next day the market opens, I would be using these 3 levels here, okay? And the way that you can do this with the indicator is really easy. You just click these 2 buttons, and then I'll just go ahead and auto extend it. So the next day, I can just have this. I don't have to worry about all the other levels, and it makes it really, really easy. But what I want to do and show you guys this example is just draw out the levels from this day so we can actually look at the price action that happened on this day and then go from there, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and extend this out, top level, bottom level, and then mid level right here. I'm just going to go ahead and make this a different color and make that purple. And then I'll go ahead and turn this off. So there we go. We have the levels that we would be looking at for this day today, which is Friday a few days ago. And again, you can see how on this day already, just by looking at the chart, that it did act pretty good as a support level. And that can happen sometimes. But I want to show you the actual breakdown of the strategy and how this actually works, okay? So let me first go ahead and just draw 2 different levels on here. We're not going to worry about the mid-level right now, just because it's not as important compared to the other 2 levels. But I'm going to show you exactly how to use these 2 levels here, okay? So let's say this is price action. Now, the first way that you can trade this is price number 1, okay, or price action strategy number 1. Now, again, price is either going to open inside of these zones or outside of it. When I say the zone, I simply just mean, inside of these 2 black levels, right? We have the inside and we have outside, which either be above it or below it. Now, when price opens below it, so we're going to go with the same example here. When price opens below it, essentially what I'm looking for is price to come inside the zone, okay? Consolidate or have acceptance. I'll talk a little bit about how that works in a second. And then we want to see literally just price go from line to line. And that's it. Okay, it's as simple as that. There's nothing else. And that's really how I take these trades, okay? You wait for price to start outside the zone, right? Make its way inside the zone. Once it gets inside, you simply wait for a move back to the other line, and then you go from line to line. It's as simple as that. And then the trade is done, okay? There's no other trades taken. I'm not looking for a short off of here and then a move back and just keep playing this. That's not what I'm looking to do. I like to take 1 trade a day on a stock. Okay, that's it. It's just getting in, let it consolidate, let it come inside. Once we get it inside, we simply just go from line to line, and it's as simple as that, right? Now, if I go ahead and look at MU, we're going to go on a 1-minute chart. Now, you can trade this on pretty much all different time frames you want. It is a day trading strategy, so most of the time I'm looking at 1-minute or 5-minute zones. So what I'll do is I'll say, okay, take a look at MU. The first 10 minutes or so, price opens outside of our zone. Okay, so again, we have our black levels here. This is quote our zone. You're just in between the 2 black levels. Price opens outside of it. And so what we want to look for is for price to go inside the zone, okay, and then consolidate a little bit. Show us that it wants to stay inside the zone, okay, and with something called acceptance. All right, now acceptance at the end of the day simply just means time and price, right? If there's a lot of time and there's a lot of price, essentially inside of that zone, that shows acceptance, much, right? You can see in the first like basically 2 minutes, we had a few different wicks come up and actually cross this zone. Now, typically that's not enough acceptance, right? A good rule of thumb you could do for this is essentially waiting for a 5-minute close or a 15-minute close, depending on if you want more confirmation, which we obviously get in this area here, okay? Now, once that happens, right? Once price starts outside, we go inside of our zone. We now have an edge in our system, right? Now our edge in this strategy and what basically helps make us money is that at this point in time, right, when we finally figure out that price is accepted inside the zone right around here, that we are going to expect price to go to the other level here, okay? That is our edge. That is our strategy. That is it. We don't care about anything else, okay? I don't know. I'm not saying market's going to keep going and ripping. I do not care. All I know is that my edge at this point in time is that there's a higher than not probability that price is going to go to this other level, okay? And that's how I set up the foundations of my trades. That's how I'm able to set up my trading where I can make some money doing this. Price does end up coming back towards that bottom level. We dip a little bit below it, and we eventually consolidate the rest of the day, and then towards the end, finally make it to our upper level right around here. We actually do keep pushing off after it way a little bit higher. But again, that is not part of my edge. That's not my strategy. I just like to get in, get out, take my profits, and go from there, okay? So let's say, for example, we were about to put on a trade on MU. We would have known, let's say on this candle here, right? At this point, we say, okay, price has started outside the zone. We've gone back inside the zone. We have accepted inside. So at this point, we know our edge is that price is going to go all the way down, all the way up to this price level up here, okay? Now, since we know that, we can now finally put on a trade. But the main thing here is that we want to have good risk management. We want to have a good risk reward on these trades, right? So let's say I'm looking to get in around here. I know that my target is going to be right there. Okay, so make it really easy. You know your target's going to be right there at the other upper level, and your stop loss can be a little bit different. Like I said, these are not support resistance levels. You do not want to put your stop loss right below one of these levels. The way that I like to do my stop losses is based off price action, okay? And the way that I also combine the strategy to make it more efficient is with something called supply and demand. And you can see that we have a 1-minute supply and demand zone all the way down here. Now, if you have no idea what supply and demand is, you don't understand it, I'll put a link in the description to I have a whole free course going over. I'll be another YouTube video for you. You can check that out at the end of the video. But my stop loss would probably want to be somewhere below this low right around here, okay? So at this point in time, right, I now know that my logical stop loss, somewhere that I know a good stop loss would be right here. And I know my target would be right here. Now, obviously, this is a 0.5 risk reward, right? If I'm risking, $500 to make $250, that's not a good trade. I don't want to be doing that, okay? For me, I like typically going for 1-to-1 risk rewards at most. And so that's why I calculate my entries last, right? Once I have my stop loss figured out, I have my target figured out, then I simply just say, what risk reward do I want? And I just wait for price to come down to it, right? And not every time it's going to happen, but most of the time it will, okay? And so let's say I wanted to go for a 1-to-1. I would simply wait for this candle drop right here. I would get in right around there, and I would simply go about my day, right? I would get in, I would set my stop loss, I would set my target. You could trade this on options, you could trade this on shares, trade on futures, and you can make a lot of money from it, okay? Now, let's say I wanted to go for 1.5 risk reward, okay? So I'd wait right about there. I would still get in. I would still do pretty good on this trade. Let's say I wanted to go for a 2 risk reward. Same thing, okay? I would have been able to make a 2R trade simply using this strategy and going about my execution in a way where I'm looking at my entries last, my targets first, and my stop losses second, okay? Now, this would have been a very obviously pretty good trade, right? It would have worked out. Now, it would have taken the whole day, and this isn't something you want to be trading, 0 DTE options on, not even really like weekly options. You typically want to go 1 to 2 weeks out, go in the money. It can take the whole day. And the cool part about this strategy is that I simply just do OCO orders, automated orders, and that's it. Like this trade I would have been in the first 30 minutes of the market open. I set my stop loss, I set my target, everything's automated, and then I just walk away from the screens. I don't have to touch anything. I simply let the trade play out, and it ends up working out pretty well, pretty damn good. For statistics wise, on average between our students and what we've back tested using the strategy and just results we've gotten is about 63%. Okay. So overall, 63% of the time, the strategy in this trade is going to work out if you're doing it properly. Now, I want to show you another example on Google. I believe it was Chris, made a bunch of money on Google, and you can see he's going to have the same levels here that I'm about to show you on my screen, okay? Because it's simply using the same exact levels over and over again, right? So if I go ahead and, again, with the way the strategy works is you're looking at the previous day's levels, okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to extend these out just like this top level here, this bottom level there. We don't even need the mid level at this moment. Again, not that important for right now. And you can see how well the strategy works. Again, how does the strategy work? We start outside of our zone, okay? So if this is our zone, right? We simply wait for price to come inside the zone, okay? And when price does that, all we know is that price is going to go from line to line. It's going to go from one side to the other side. And that's all it is, okay? And you can see right here, he actually had the same exact setups, right? So he actually got in short right around this candle pullback here. I believe he's looking at a 5-minute chart. Maybe not. And he ended up getting short right around this area here, right? Put a stop loss right above the supply zone right there. And then he had his target all the way down at this bottom level, close to a 1.92R. Looks about the same thing right here, okay? And just like that, he was able to make money doing this exact strategy. And this happened in the first hour of the day, right? All of this can be pretty much automated, and it's super, super simple. Price gets in, we get short, right? We come inside our zone, we wait for price to come back up to the supply, we put our stop loss right above the high, and then when price comes back down, that's when we end up getting out at our target. And again, after this, there's not really much to it, right? I'm not looking for any other crazy moves. I'm not looking for price to just keep dumping. I simply get in, I set my stop loss, I set my target, I walk away, and I let price do what it wants to do, okay? And that's how simple that the strategy is. Now, there is one other way that this strategy can be played, okay? Now, I have another example for you here on Roblox. Let me go ahead, get these levels on, kind of show you how this one works, all right? So let me go ahead and extend these levels again. This was all on the same exact day. So 3 different opportunities all on Friday, which was a couple days ago, for you to be able to trade this strategy. Again, this works on all different stocks, so you have a huge watch list here. It's going to work on a lot of different things, all right? Now, liquidity isn't as great. I'm going to go to a 5-minute chart on Roblox. We can kind of get a good idea of how the strategy actually works, okay? So this is the strategy right here. Okay, so let me go ahead and zoom in. So you can see that the market opens right here on this candle, okay? Now, this case, we actually opened up inside of the zone, okay? Remember our black levels that are right here. This is what we call the zone. Price actually opens inside. And so obviously, previously we had, okay, price would always open outside the zone. It would come inside, and then we would just play that rotation, right, from line to line. Now, when price opens inside, it's a little bit different. Mainly the same idea, but it's a little bit different. And all you want to do to trade this way is simply wait for price to go outside of the zone and then come back in and then do the same thing, okay? It's as simple as that. All you have to do is wait for price to go outside, and then if it comes back inside, you look for that rotation back from line to line, okay? Now, it's not going to happen every time, right? Some days, prices are going to stay in the middle, and you don't want to touch it. Some days, price is going to go out, and it's going to rebound. It's going to keep going back up, okay? And that's okay. We don't want to trade that. Like I said, sometimes it will happen where you'll get a nice bounce right off this level for a move higher. That's not how I trade the strategy. I'm very picky about how I trade it, how these levels are created. It's a whole proprietary system that works in only one simple way, right? Now, let's take a look at Roblox here. Okay, market opens right here. We come out. Then what happens? We come back in. So beautiful. At this point in time, when price is right around here, we now know, and our edge tells us that price wants to go down all the way to this other level right here. It's as simple as that, okay? So what do we want to do? Well, we can wait for a pullback. And again, where do we find our entry stops targets? We start with our targets. So at this point in time, right, we know our target is going to be down here. Then we go to our stop loss. And our stop loss at this point would probably be above this 5-minute supply zone, right above this high around here. Okay, so I'd go ahead and put my stop loss right above the high. Then we can figure out an entry, right? Then all we have to do is ask ourselves, what kind of risk reward do we want? And I know some traders like, well, I want 3R, 4R. I want to risk $100 to make $400. And yes, you can take those kind of trades, right? You can get a 4R trade, but not every time you're going to make that trade, right? If I waited for a 4R trade here, I would have to get in right around here. Price never even went up to that, right? Now, if I was being a little bit less greedy and I said, okay, I'm fine with a 1.5 risk reward, price pulled back right to this 1.5 risk reward mark, I would have been able to get in and make this trade, right? I could risk $1,000 to make 1,500 on this exact trade here, okay? And so I simply wait. You can get in. I set my stop loss. I set my target, and I walk away. And within the next hour and a half, price comes right back down to our level, and that's it. Again, price just goes from line to line, line to line, and it does it on every stock all the time. It's not 100%. Like I said, we have an average about a 63% win rate, but simply using the strategy, you can make money consistently day in and day out using this, and that's exactly what I've been doing, and the students have been doing consistently over time to become a profitable trader. Now, when it comes to actually getting these levels and getting the triple line method, the cool thing about it is that it's currently only for people who are inside of my mentorship, okay, who are inside of students of the Freedom Team. We have over 500 students now, and it's been very, very successful. And we have a 3-phase system using this exact strategy that we've been able to help and teach over 500 students to become profitable, simply using this in 8 weeks, okay? So it's an 8-week program. We're going to help you become profitable, and you'll get access to these levels. You'll get access to the indicator. You'll show exactly more in depth how to use it, what the middle level means, how to have good risk management, how to have, psychology coach, all that stuff. We help you out with through our one-on-one coaching. So if you are interested in learning more about this and how this works, what you can do is I'm going to leave a link in the description below. You can go ahead and schedule a free call with one of my coaches. We'll kind of walk you through your current trading, see what the obstacles are, and then talk about this and how we can help you out and see if it even makes sense for you. So that's something I'm more than happy to do. And if you want to do that, you can go ahead and click the first link or second link in the description below. And if you want to learn more about kind of like supply and demand, how that works, what you can do is go ahead and click the other link. I'll leave it down all in the description for you. So you can go ahead and learn the strategy and also learn from me and the other coaches that we've taught how to do this as well. So with that being said, hope you guys did enjoy this video. Go ahead, check out the link in the description below. You can book a call with my team, and I'll see you guys in the next video.